going back and thinking, Dr. Iqbal, what is one thing you could do if you can go back and tell your younger you during residency program? What would you say to yourself?
Well, I think two main things. One thing I want to address, like Dr. Pacheco said, her pathway was a little bit different, and Dr. Runas also said it was a crooked line. And for me, it was as well. You know, I thought I wanted to be a trauma surgeon initially, but then I woke up and primary care is where I needed to be. So I think I would tell my younger self, just take it easy. You know, you're going to end up where you need to be in the end. But every little setback or every little step or every little hurdle, I think I would take it, and all my colleagues would take those so personally. They would be devastating in the moment. And, you know, everything was so serious. And looking back, they were just steps to get you where you need to be. And, you know, I think I would not, if I had to go back, I would not stress over those changes. I would just take them with the flow and say, hey, this is the pathway I'm going to take. And maybe I'll loop back and maybe I won't. And to just kind of appreciate when life took me in a different direction, rather than just perseverating on it. A quick story was, my roommate and I were very disappointed at something, and maybe it was a test score or something. I just remember we were in her basement. This is in med school. We were in her basement, really upset, on the verge of tears, and her dad came down, and he said he was an Italian gruff dad, and he was like, what's the matter with you guys? What's the matter with you guys? You guys are doctors. You're going to graduate in a couple months, and you're going to go off, and and it kind of put things in perspective. And I think we in healthcare are so hard on ourselves, and we have to be forgiving. So if I had to go back, I think that's what I would do, is be more forgiving to myself.
Thank you for that answer. Dr. Pacheco, do you share the same sentiments?
I do. And I would add one more step to that, Dr. Iqbal, which is, or maybe two more steps. One is, you may outline for yourself what you think is the path, and it's okay to change. Because I thought I wanted to be a surgeon, and I started the residency. And as you can imagine, it was tough. But the other thing I think that I didn't consider when I was when I was training, or when I was before deciding my residency program, was what kind of a life that I wanted to have. And I really feel that that's a critical step when you're choosing a residency program, because I thought I knew what I wanted. And I will share a quick story too, which was, I was in surgery. My chief resident calls me to her office and says, I'm going to start this lap colon, but I'm 8.5 months pregnant. I'm on terbutaline because I'm contracting inappropriately. And I don't know if I'm going to make it through the case. And so I'm going to need you to take over if that happens. And I looked at her and I said, hey, why? You're having a baby. Like, that's more important. She's like, no, surgery is more important. And I knew then that I wasn't going to be a surgeon. And it was not long after that I changed. So I think it's okay, because we're all really focused and driven and dedicated to the field. But it is okay to be considerate of the kind of life that you want to have, and what it means, and what your career will mean, and the impact it'll have on that. So that's my only two bits of sense there.
Thank you, Dr. Pacheco. And Dr. Runas, you've scaled fairly quickly from residency into a director role. What is one thing that you would go back and tell your younger you during residency?
Sure. I guess I would say try to find out what most resonates with you in terms of your residency experience. What really makes you happy? What were your rotations or specialties that you're experiencing when you're in residency? Because then that's probably what you should be pursuing, because that's what you're going to be doing for a long period of your life. Now, again, your first job doesn't necessarily have to be your last job either. So I also would say, don't, to Dr. Iqbal's point, don't take yourself too seriously. If it's not a good fit, then you can try somewhere else too. So again, if you like the inpatient part of medicine, then so be it. Then work on hospitalist medicine. But if you like a different challenge every day, then okay, maybe locums are for you. Maybe you want to change locations every couple of months, and that's fine. Private practice, federally qualified health centers, academic medicine, whatever aspect of primary care or family medicine that you find interesting. I think residency, even though there's no time, I get that, but residency is a great time to be able to try to reach out to the people who you admire, like how they're living their lives, and say, well, how happy are you? How did you get to where you are? This is a time to reach out to those mentors, people who are already in places where you want to go, and then see if you can tailor that to you. Yeah, because it's one of those things where you don't want to just graduate and say like, okay, what am I going to do now? So yeah, I think I would just say, yeah, try to find what really brings you joy in your residency, and then really try to pursue that. So